Hi everyone, Nico here. This will be session 7, auditions part 2. The biggest question I get asked is, should we have our lines memorized for an audition? Now, this strictly depends on how much time you've had to prepare. If you've had the sides for a couple of days or even longer, then by all means do. I personally like to memorize my lines because it gives me a freedom to play in the room and not have to read so much. Again, some actors might have problems with memorization, and that is just a muscle. Look, don't make excuses for yourself. I have friends that write their lines down hundreds of times on a piece of paper, or they record themselves and they play it subconsciously while they're sleeping, or they record the other person's lines and they have a dialogue by themselves in the car wherever they are going. Look, the best way to memorize your lines is know what you're saying. What are you playing? What are you fighting for? What is the objective in the scene? Listen to what you're saying, because if you listen and you're playing something and you're creating a relationship, you are automatically gonna say the next line. Now, the fastest way to forget your line is think about your line. Right there, the second you think about your line, you're out of the zone, you're out of the moment, and everything goes out the window. The problem with memorization is, if you have a script in your hand and if you look down, some actors get frazzled when they see the words and they get thrown and everything goes out the window and they get locked, which is not a good thing. This is something that you're going to have to work on, and the more you audition, the easier it will become. That being said, even if I'm completely off book, if I'm in the room, I force myself to look down at the script. I force myself to look down at the script because every once in a while, so that the casting director or the director doesn't think I'm giving them a performance. Okay, sorry, I don't have my tripod. I don't want it to ever look like I'm giving them a performance. I don't want them to think, oh, this is the final product. And even though it's an audition process and they know this, they can't help it when you're performing to think of it as a performance. You want them to always think that, God, this guy's amazing, right? And imagine how much better he is if he had some time to work on it. So that's why, and use your script. Feel free to actually play with your script. Don't ever take a prop to an audition. That's just amateur, you know. But you can use your script. If you're looking at a photo, look at the paper, turn it around. If it's a gun, use the paper as a gun. Feel free to play with that paper. Don't be afraid of it. You know, it's for some reason it's terrifying for some actors to look down if they're off book. But if you know that it's a safe thing, and take your time, there's no rush. You know, you can see or look up. And if you're reading your lines, be careful not to bury yourself in the script. And the most important time to be up off the page is actually when the other character is talking. And that's the fastest time the actor goes to his paper, because he's not talking. So he tries to find his part. What you don't understand is they're looking for your reaction. The reaction is everything. Like I said before, acting is 75% reacting. So, and those are the moments the casting director, you know, the camera is looking at you, right? And they're looking at your reactions. Take your beat, look down, get your line, and come back. You know who's really good at this is Margie Aber. Margie Aber has a technique for cold reading called the Aber technique, H-A-B-E-R. I took her master class years ago, and her book is out. Her sessions are probably still out there. Google her. Her technique is really good, and I teach that technique in my audition class. I kind of borrowed some stuff from her, and she's really good for people not memorizing. Remember, it's more important to know what you're talking about. You know, have life behind it. Play something, create a relationship. Don't just say lines with nothing there. Memorizing your lines has nothing to do with acting. Nothing at all. But you can't act if you don't know your lines. Okay? So that's it about the lines. And, you know, get it out of your head. Work your scenes. If you have the time, you know, have somebody read with you. Have a friend come over. Have your sister, daughter, mother, dog, what? Give a bum $1. Have him read it with you. Get it out of your head, because you don't want any surprises. And sometimes you think you're going to perform it in a certain way, and for the first time coming out of your mouth, it usually doesn't work the way you think it would work. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be better, but it usually tends not to be. It's better to be prepared and like rehearsals, like what we talked about before. Okay, next, Should you dress the part? Or how should you dress for an audition? Now, I've done it both ways. I've gone, and if it helps me with the role, then yeah, I would bring the essence of what the character is. Don't go in full, costume, but if you're in you're playing an attorney, wear a suit. You're playing a prince, wear a suit. Whatever it is, if you're playing a bum, wear jeans and t-shirt, or don't do anything. Just wear your jean and t-shirt and just be an actor. It somehow becomes amateur when you try too hard, but sometimes it works as well because they get to see you if they're looking for a specific part. But again, just the essence is enough. Now, in your regular outfit, what should you wear? Look, you don't want to do anything that's going to be flashy. You don't want anything that takes away from your performance. So ladies, low-cut dresses, mini skirts, anything that's going to distract the reader or the director or producer or whoever's in that room from watching your performance, don't do it. You're just hurting yourself. Don't wear big hoopy jewelry. Don't wear, God, I did this one audition. It was the stupidest thing I ever did, but I was young. I wanted to be all dressy and fancy. It was one of those parts, and I wore these really fancy shoes, and they were black, shiny, really shiny, patent leather, but like a tuxedo shoe, but it was very cool. And the whole session in the room, the director was obsessed with my shoes. And while I was doing the part, I kept looking at him, and he was just staring at my feet. And at the end of the audition, he asked me where I bought them. So what did that do for me? Absolutely nothing, because he had no attention to what I was doing as the actor. He was just more concerned about what I was wearing. So don't do anything that's going to distract from your performance. Now, last week we talked about doing your research, right? Know who's in the room. And depending on the audition, if you're going into a director-producer session, then you know that that audition is for the director-producer, the networks, whoever it is. Who's the important person in that room? Okay, now this 5 minutes that you're in this audition room is all about you. They all have their jobs. This 5 minutes was allotted for you, right? So take your time, be charismatic, be fun, be light, enjoy it, keep it positive. Again, don't bring your baggage in the room. But while you're doing your introduction and doing all that stuff, also look at where the reader is. Look at the positioning of the room. How big is the room? Is it a big room where you have to enunciate or have to be loud? Or is it an intimate small room? Is there a camera where I can bring it down, keep it subtle? Remember, less is more for film and television. But if you're doing it on stage and the director's sitting on 30th row, are you in your light? Are you being loud enough? Are you being presented enough? Are you being seen? Remember, there's this fallacy. If you upstage yourself, and upstaging means if I can't see you, something registers in my mind that I can't hear you. And if I can't hear you, I think I can't see you. So don't do anything where it's going to go against you. Be present, be loud enough, make sure you're heard. Now, don't overdo it. Again, use your judgment in that 2 to 3 minutes before you start your audition. Just glance the room while you're talking and being charismatic. And then also see where the reader is. Now, this is really important. If the director and the producer are sitting on that side of the room, right? There's 9, 10 people in the room, and the casting director is right in front of you, and the reader is sitting on this side, and the chair is facing him. And if it's forcing me to look this way to the reader when I'm performing, well, the director and casting director are behind me. So be smart while you're talking and joking around or whatever it is you're doing. Grab your chair, move it to the other side of the room where you're sitting across from this guy. So now the reader's on this side of me and the casting director's right there, and I'm performing this way, and I'm open. And keep yourself open to the important people in the room. And you can only know that if you know who the person is in the room. Now, casting directors will tell you, oh, this is the director so-and-so, and this is the producer, and these are the writers. Should you improvise in the room? I don't recommend it. Look, you're going in for an acting job, not a writing job, and you never know who's in that room. You know how pissed off a writer would be if he walked in, and if you walked in and you wrote the piece and somebody's coming in and making up a whole new thing. It's disrespectful. It's not cool. That's not your job. An actor's job is to bring life off the page, and that's what you're there for. So I don't recommend improvisation. Now, of course, if you're thrown completely in the scene and you're trying to find your way back, of course, do whatever you can, and don't be afraid to look down on the paper again. Use your script. Don't be afraid to look down, take your time. Should you start over if you screw up? Again, you're taking a risk. If it's early on the stage and you just can't seem to get out of your head because you said this one word wrong and it's completely throwing you, then by all means you can take a risk and say, hey, can I start over? I just got in my head for a second and I'd like to take it over. But don't wait till you're halfway through the audition, because you're taking the risk of them saying, no, that's enough, Nico, we saw enough, thank you very much. Okay, so you don't want to do anything like that. What else should I talk about? When you walk in the room, you know, when they're introducing you, say hi, be cordial, be polite, have the etiquette. Don't go in for a handshake, because perhaps the director doesn't want to shake your hand. You remember, there's 200-300 other people they're seeing, and if they're spending all this time shaking people's hands, and maybe he's a germaphobe, maybe he's sick, maybe he doesn't want to, and now you're going to get all offended, you're going to offend him if he says something that's going to be awkward. But however, on the flip side, if he comes forward and shakes your hand, by all means, shake their hand. All right, if they're going out of their way to try to make you comfortable, then you do it, unless you yourself are a germaphobe. And don't be a dick, but just, you know, make up an excuse. Say, look, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I just prefer, I don't want to spread anything. Something, use logic is what I'm trying to say when you're in that room. And commit to whatever choice it is you're making. Don't go in there asking the casting director, well, what is it they're looking for? Casting director may know, may not know. The whole point is you're the actor. You know, I'm hiring you to bring what you think is the part. Now, I've done parts where I even have writer friends where they write something and an actor brings something and they get blown away because they didn't even think about what that person went and brought with this thing. So, you know, you could change somebody's mind, and don't judge yourself, but commit to whatever choice it is you're playing, and don't be wishy-washy in that room. Go after it 100%. If a director turns around and gives you direction, that is a great thing. That means that director took his time, saw your performance, liked what you did. Now he's going to give you direction. If he does give you direction, that means don't throw away the work that you brought. He or she liked what you did. They're just giving you a layer to add on, unless the director says strictly, let's turn it around completely. This is not what I'm looking for. I liked what you did. But commit to a part. Do whatever you think is the part. Don't ask your friends or other actors what they're doing in that room. You do your job. That's your rehearsal. You're the actor. It's your job to bring to life, right? Now, if you're completely wrong for the part, you know, and you're reading the script and it says 6'4", blonde hair, blue eyes, and you're 5'8", brown hair, nebbish, New York Jewish kid, right? Should you right off the top call your agent and say, I'm not going to go in, I'm not right for this part? Should I tell the casting actor I'm not going to? Look, you're going to have enough people judging you already. The last thing you want to do is to put it in their mind that they made a mistake. They know they made the mistake if you're in the room and everybody else is wrong. But now you have an opportunity to show them that you are right. You understand? This is what I'll bring to this part and change their mind. This is what Dustin Hoffman did in what was it called? The Graduate. You know, the part was written for a 6'4", blonde hair, blue eyed, and here comes, you know, Dustin Hoffman, 5'8", Jewish, brown hair, New York, nebbish kid. And he booked it. He got it. He proved to them that they were wrong writing it. And the writer agreed that he was perfect for the part. So don't ever, if you get the opportunity to go in the room and sell it like you're the part. Bottom line, don't judge, don't judge yourself. Commit to the role you're playing, go after it, and play with everything you got. If a director gives you direction, please, by all means, listen. Most actors do not listen. You know, the worst thing you could do is, you get a set of directions, and the director's talking, and you're just standing there nodding. And then he says, okay, let's do it again. And you do it exactly the way you had done it prior. You're just nodding, yes, but you got this deer in the headlight. You didn't hear a word he said. If you don't understand something the director says. And some directors are, you know, highfalutin and they use fancy words. Just say, I'm sorry, I don't know what that word means. What is it exactly you want from me in this scene? What do you want me to do? Until you know what it is you're doing, you can't do it unless you know what it is he wants. So you're just hurting yourself. Who cares if you're stupid and you don't know this word? Would you rather get the part or would you rather not? You think they're not going to know you didn't know what he meant? Or you didn't know what that word meant? So just, you know, play that 6-year-old dumb kid. Say, I'm so sorry. I don't understand. What exactly does that mean? You want me to... Oh, okay. I get it. I get what you're saying now. You know? At least you then now have a chance, a fighting chance. Again, if a director does give you a note, it's because he likes what you did. Don't be offended. Oh God, he didn't like what I did. He's making me change it. He doesn't have to say anything to you. He could just sit back and let you just do your thing and leave. And don't forget, a lot of directors, because there are actors out there that are amazing at doing auditions, you know, let's go sit over here. If there are actors out there that are really good at doing auditions, a director might give a direction even though you nailed it, just to see if you can take direction. You see, that's a big thing in this industry, because once you sign the dotted line, they're stuck with you. And if they don't use you, they still have to pay you. And all the time you waste, you're on the set and the director comes and gives you a set of directions and you just are like, blah, you just freeze. So they will give directions sometimes just to see if you can take direction. So listen, make sure you understand, make sure you know what it is that you want from him, what he wants from you, I mean, and deliver it the best you can. Now, don't throw away the work that you brought to it. Just add the layers that the director added on to yours. Position yourself again, be charismatic in the room, know who's in the room, play to the people that are important. Don't be disrespectful to anyone. Don't tell the reader, oh, can you please come sit over here? No, you get your ass and you go sit over there. You kind of position it, but you do it in a way. Look, the smart people in the room know they're experienced. They're not there off a whim. They're there because they've done this for a long time. They know what they're doing. They will see. They will respect you, you know, because you didn't make a big deal out of it. You just kind of, you know, etiquettely positioned yourself where it was important. What else? Again, remember, you're the actor. You're the one that knows what the part is, not them. Now, if you have an opportunity to get the script prior, read the script. Know everything there is to know. Do your research before you go in that room. But most of the times you won't. Most of the times you'll just get sides from your agent or the breakdowns or whatever, side facts or whatever it's called. You get that and you work on that. So you kind of create your own thing. And please, pronounce the words correctly. If you don't know what a word is, look it up before you go in the room. Don't just say words that you don't know the meanings to. If you're speaking a different language, if you're doing accents, if you're doing whatever, do your research. You know, pronounce the word correctly. There's nothing more amateur and stupid than an actor not pronouncing a word right, unless the part is asking for that. Gosh, we're running out of 17 minutes. Okay, so one last thing I want to say. Last week I talked about how to get auditions. There's this wonderful thing called the casting networks. Now you can Google this as well. I'll go on the internet and put casting networks or casting session networks workshops. These are workshops where a casting director, a good casting director, even, you know, or an assistant associate from a big casting office will come, and these workshops, you pay $40, $20 to $40. It's about 20 to 40 of you actors in there, and you get to spend 5 hours with these casting directors, but you're paying them. So if I can get into a room with a casting director that is amazing, and my own agents and publicists and managers and lawyers, whatever, can't get me in the room, and there it is, and I'm paying $40 to spend 5 hours, 4 hours with them, they'll tell you the do's and don'ts of the industry. They'll talk about their experiences, what they're looking for, what they're casting. Then they'll have you do an acting session. Either they'll bring sides from a show they're casting right now, or from previous sides, or they'll have you come in with a prepared scene with a scene partner, or they'll just put you up with another partner, or they'll have you do a monologue, and then they'll watch you and then they'll give you feedback. But a casting director, what you got to understand, is always casting. That's what a casting does. So if you're freaking amazing, why would that casting director not put you in her repertoire? Why would she not lock it in her mind and use you for something? I've gotten parts like this. They are available to you, but it is your prerogative. You know, should actors have to pay casting directors now to do their job? That's up to you. But if I can't get into the room and now I'm spending 5 hours in creating a relationship with one, then for me, it's worth it. And these workshops will also give you calendars. Once you audition for them, you go in, they look at you, they get your resume. They don't want you to make an ass out of them either. Casting director is coming for the evening. She's going to make $1,000 or $2,000 just to do a 4 or 5 hour sessions. And a lot of them want to come in and just kind of give back to the actors as well and teach. And there's something very gratifying about that. But remember, they're always casting. So if you're good at what you're doing, you just got in front and you created a relationship with this person. So for me, it's worth it. And again, you know, they'll send you the catalogs if you get on their mailing list, the calendar of who's coming in, and they deal with agents as well and the assistants. Remember, these assistants become associates, associates become casting directors. Things change, things move quickly in this industry. It's all who you know, and you should start doing these kind of networking things. All right, guys, we're at 19 minutes and 30 seconds now. This is going to be the longest one, but this is auditions. I think these things were important, and I hope I didn't shake too much. I kind of said I was going to do it on a tripod, but I'm on a hike. Anyway, okay. Until next time, have a good day. Bye.